Hey, here with Justin today from Georgia. Pleasure, man. Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, great to have us down here. So, another really key member of NARPM. Kind of excited. We've talked to a lot of people this weekend, right? We've talked about technology. We've talked about best practices. You know, the cores of things that we talk about at these types of shows, especially NARPM, right? That experience of excellence. But you know, there's this little bit of undercurrent that's going on in the industry right now, and like no one knows like what tomorrow's going to bring, right? We go into our Google feeds or our YouTube feeds, and it's like end of the world this, interest rates this, market crash this. And I know you have some insights on that. So why don't you just like drop a little knowledge on us right now, right? Like help us people that are wondering if you have any insights into that. Like what do you see is happening like in the next 12 months?
You know, those are good questions, Dave. It's a super confusing time, right? Because we're in a space right now where in most markets around the country, we've definitely peaked and we're coming down. And the thing about it is we're coming into the bottom of a market right now, or we're not even coming into it yet, but that's what's next. And that is probably going to be happening simultaneously with prices escalating.
Interesting.
And as prices are escalating, yet we're moving value-wise down into the bottom of a market, it's creating this very confusing time for investors because we're sitting in a place right now, right, where supply is down.
Okay.
We do not have enough inventory in this country to meet existing demand.
Okay.
And interest rates are reasonably high over the past 15-year period.
Okay.
So as the Federal Reserve is talking about dropping interest rates, what does that do to pricing?
Okay. I think it's going to go up.
Right. Right.
Right. That's what you would think.
So as pricing is going up, if that happens and that plays out with no available supply, that is probable what's happening.
Yeah.
Yet the underlying indicators in the market are that we're headed into a downturn in the overall market. Okay. And it becomes confusing because it's not just about pricing. Pricing gets impacted greatly by this crazy funny money that we carry around in our pockets.
This is actually real, not like the stuff that gets printed every day by the government, right?
Well, so that's the point, right?
No,
and it's because the government has printed so much money that we're in a space where the pricing is spiking and inflation is hitting hard. And the idea that inflation is over, I mean...
Yeah, that's what a lot of people feel, right? Inflation being over, they're getting under control. I think the sentiment is out there that this is a long-term issue, right? We continue to print. So let's bring it down local to the property manager, okay? Sure. Let's talk a little bit about their investors, their opportunity for growth. Do you think that this is going to be a benefit to some property managers? Are more people going to be entering the market? Is this going to hold more investors away? Are people going to be doing more transactions? Let's talk about what hits their pocketbook. So,
Dave, this is the golden age of property management, brother.
Okay, we're here.
We're
hearing it. We're here.
Right now is the time where people that own assets are about to be able to acquire many more.
Okay.
We're moving in a direction where rental housing is going to be increasing because homeownership rates are starting to drop.
Okay.
And so what we're going to be seeing is this great opportunity as value drops. That investors that are getting ready, that get their house in order, their businesses are working perfectly during this next phase. This is the time to do that work because when we hit the bottom of the market, real estate's going to be on sale.
Okay.
The pricing might look a little bit different, and that's the confusing part for most of these
people.
Yeah,
explain that a little bit more to people so they really understand what you're saying there. How is it going to be a bottom and on sale, but the pricing is going to be higher?
Well, let's think about it this way. You've got this bazooka gum sitting over here on your table.
Okay.
I don't know what a piece of bazooka gum costs, but let's say today it's $1.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden our government prints 16 times as many dollars.
Okay.
There's 16 times as much money competing for the same finite goods.
Yeah.
What happens to the price of that gum?
It's going to go up. Yeah.
That's the price. Has the value of that gum changed at all?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It's the exact same value. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in a market space where the value of these properties actually is in decline, and it's moving down right now because we're moving into a phase in the market where people think that real estate is trash.
Yeah.
We're moving into that bottom of the market where they're not going to want it, and that's going to be driving values down.
Yeah.
Yet, just like that gum, the pricing is going to be escalating because there is so much more money competing. And I didn't just pick that number out of thin air. I don't know if you know this.
No, I don't.
But back in 2007, when we were at the top of the last market, the total currency in circulation, and by currency in circulation, I'm talking about M1 currency, That is the money I carry in my pocket
Yep.
and checking deposits and savings deposits.
Yep.
That money in 2007 was 1.3 trillion.
Okay.
What happened in
Hold on,
2007?
what year was that again? 2007.
2007.
Okay, and we're 2024 now. Okay,
Okay.
so 2007, we're going to build a timeline here.
So-
2007, we started having some issues in the housing sector,
And what happened?
right? Prices went down.
And what happened to our money?
Our money devalued. Oh, excuse me. No, actually, we started printing money. At
We
that point.
did,
Yes,
huge,
yes,
right?
yeah, huge.
And
yeah.
so in 2007, I'm not going to take us all the way back in history. Let's
Yeah.
just use that as a starting point.
Yeah.
In 2009, our government started printing, and they printed aggressively, and they printed an extra $100 billion.
Yes.
And in 2010, they printed 200 billion. So we're sitting at like 1.5, 1.6 trillion dollars.
Yeah.
By 2020, 11 years later,
Yeah.
we're sitting at $4 trillion that they had printed.
Yeah.
4 times the
Yeah.
amount of money in an 11-year span.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there
Not
any
in a
wonder?
100-year span,
4 years.
4 years.
11 years.
11-year span. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In January of 2020,
Yeah.
the currency supply was 4 trillion.
Yep.
By April of 2022, and look, these numbers I'm giving you,
Yeah.
go to the Federal Reserve
Yeah.
website.
Yeah. Just like look this up. This isn't
You-
conspiracy
I'm not
theory,
just making it up.
tinfoil hat stuff. This is like
No,
real deal. Yeah.
This is what's happening,
Yeah,
right? And,
yeah.
and if you understand what's happening, it's not scary.
Yeah.
It's just these are the rules, and
Yeah.
these are the rules we're playing by.
Yeah, yeah.
From January 2020 to April 2022,
Yeah.
they printed $16 trillion. So our currency supply expanded from 4 trillion to 20 trillion.
Yeah.
So
And we're
from
wondering why we're paying the prices that we're paying at the grocery store. We wonder why all of our houses have gone up. Unbelievable, right? We wonder why people are being pushed out of the market and feeling like, hey, I can't afford home ownership. I don't see it as a viable path. So back to your circle on this, when you're saying this is the golden age of property management, because now we're seeing the pendulum swing to where we were like 80% home ownership at one point, 20% renters, 70%, and now where are we flipping now on the people that are renting versus purchasing?
Yeah, I
Have we
think
seen
that the
that
home
change?
ownership rate escalated to 62, 63%.
Okay.
And now we're trending back down from that. And I think that it's entirely plausible that we hit 50%, maybe even dip below that.
Yeah.
It's definitely moving into what you might call a renter nation. I
Okay.
mean, we're moving into a space where it's highly probable
Yeah.
that there will become lifetime renters
Yeah.
that never own a home.
Yeah.
And that some of them it's just by choice.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a financial thing.
Well,
Some
super
just don't
convenience. People can work from home now. I can live 3 years in this part of the country. I can live 3
can
years in this part of the
move.
country.
That's
Why
it.
not? I mean, if I think to myself, going back so many years and I was remote, I think of all the different places that I would love to have lived and spent some time in
That's
before
right.
you find where did I want to settle down.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
totally. All right.
And so we're in a space right now with that much extra currency in the market space.
Yeah.
It's and a supply shortage.
Yeah.
There's something on the order of 1.9-ish million units
Yeah.
too few to meet existing demand.
Okay. On the rental side or the home buyer side?
On the home on product that's being put out of the ground, new construction
Construction.
to meet existing demand for housing needs.
Yeah.
We are 1.9 million units short.
Okay.
And that is comprised of both owner-occupied as well as rental units.
Okay.
We do not have enough supply to meet the existing demand.
Okay. So a good way to look at this maybe then for property managers is like, we have some really good data. We understand that we've done a ton of money printing. We're all sitting here at NARPM. All these property managers are coming down here and trying to find how can I be next level? How can I grow? The reality is that a lot of them actually have an opportunity to grow significantly
Yes.
with this push that's going into renters.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what are you saying to them? Are you saying anything to them like how to get prepared for that? Is that like, are we in that now market? Is this like, get your guns ready for 12 months? Where are you seeing cycles right now with that demand?
So the average phase is running 3 to 5 years,
Okay.
right? And we just entered in most markets, and look, every single market is a little bit different, right? But in general, we've probably just entered the beginning of a buyer's market where we're dropping.
Okay.
And we've got probably a 3 to 5 year window before we truly hit the bottom of the market and we start to recover. So,
Okay.
and I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. So many things could impact
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah. But on average, 3 to 5 years is what we see as that cycle.
More or
and
less.
you feel like generally we're kind of hitting that market, that we're seeing signals that we're starting to hit that a little bit right now.
to drop off,
Yeah, to drop off.
and move towards the bottom.
Yeah.
And so in that next period, I think the property managers, the advice I gave yesterday in my talk was, y'all need to get your house in order. This is the time
Yeah.
where you need to be focused on, this is, even though business is slow for you,
Yeah.
and right now we're in a space where your clients are not aggressively buying new assets, you're not necessarily expanding your portfolio under management, do not go on vacation.
Yeah.
This is the time you need to double down
Yeah.
and make sure that your house is in order. And I don't mean the one you live in, I mean your business.
Yeah.
Make sure your business is positioned to run flawlessly. Because when you hit the bottom of the market, that is the buy time. That is when the buying window will open, and it'll open a little bit before, right? I mean, if a great deal comes along, you should be doing that deal right now.
Yeah. This is great advice right here, right? So, we've been talking to a lot of people about, technology. Are my systems in place? People are here to go, am I set for growth? Do I have that pathway? And we're hearing it from so many different people that are saying, from the technology side, here we got the numbers side, we have vendors that are coming up here, and everyone's feeling like there's an opportunity on the horizon, right?
There is.
Are we going to take advantage of it? We have an $87 trillion worth of wealth, right, that is being transferred right now from baby boomers, assets, to the silent generation that's coming down to generation Z, Y, and X, and I say all the way down the alphabet, right? Right? And here's a group of people that are going to demand technology, right? They're going to demand insights. They want to know your numbers. They want to know value. They want to see value. They're willing to try new things. They're not as loyal as maybe the person that you've been managing a house for 30 years, right? They're more open to being like, well, I can try that do-it-myself app, right? Against, can you provide the value, okay? So your point right now is set up for value, get your house in order, and if you want to hit those growth objectives, let's deliver it. You're a property manager yourself.
I am.
What are you doing to get your house in order?
Right, so we've been working with a lot of these vendors here. I mean, the technology that's come out to help our businesses over the last, you already nailed it. I mean, over the last 4 and 5 years, the technology is remarkable. So being able to become more efficient in the way that we're running our business, using these tools to be able to accommodate this new generation. The idea, man, I come out of the Stone Age with this stuff. I've been at this almost 30 years. And so, I had people in my office watching me chisel my leases out of a stone block, and I would go to every showing appointment and stand there and collect my applications.
Those are strong leases, by the way. They were strong leases. Yeah,
they are, right? And now I've had people in my office say, "Man, are you living in the dark ages? What are you doing here?" Right? We need to update that, and so now we've gone to this trend over the last 3 and 4 years to where you're doing self showings, and quite frankly, the applicants prefer that. They want to be able to see it at their convenience without somebody standing over them like a car salesman.
Yeah, they don't need you to tell them that these are granite countertops. It's okay. They can
see
figure
that.
it out, right?
Yeah,
for
right.
sure. Yeah.
And so those types of pieces of technology to make sure that your business is working, and then starting to figure out some of the other more finite details. How are your communication systems with your tenant? How are you providing good customer service? How are you doing your financial reporting and keeping your owners abreast of what's going on, and making sure everything is working seamlessly in your business?
All right, so what we're hearing here, right, is there's some opportunity to really look at data. The data is going to drive us to say, hey, let's take a pause. Maybe I have an opportunity here. I'm not adding tons of doors, but doors may be on the horizon.
Well, they are on the horizon.
Right. They are on the horizon. Let's look at technology, okay? Let's look at our systems, and let's making sure that we're ready to capture. In the PM space, I always say this: we have a fractional percentage of the market when it actually comes to the overall rentals that are in the place, right?
Sure.
Right. What are we doing to provide value for this next generation that's coming in? And you're hearing it today that be ready, and if you're not on top of it, somebody else is going to come in and get that market share with you, right?
There's no doubt.
It's much easier for property managers these days to be operating in 2 different cities or 3 because of technology than it was before.
That's right. That's our model.
And you're hearing it right here. Like, hey, pleasure to meet you today.
Thanks, Dave.
Awesome chat.